you can do so that you can really get clear on your goals this year. Journal on it. Okay, super simple. Grab a piece of paper and just journal on what goals that you want this year. It doesn't have to be a list, it could just be a giant page of words, whatever makes sense to you. Journal on it, get it out of your system, figure it out, right? The more that you see these things coming together, you're gonna be like, oh, wait. That might, one idea might spark another idea. So journal on it, meditate on it, just sit in quiet, close your eyes, and just listen to your intuition, right? Let these things come to you. Maybe you like to create vision boards. I love a good vision board, okay? I have unfortunately not had time to make my 2025 vision board, but I do have a version of a vision board as the background on my computer. So I created that. I used Canva. I created it on there. I uploaded some different pictures of what mattered to me and some goals that I want to reach this year. And I made it the background on my computer. All right. You could do this with the background on your phone too. Maybe you would just create a note in your phone, right? Just list out all your goals in there. Again, this is about getting clear. Okay. Again, the more clear that you can get on what you want in your life, what differences you want this year compared to 2024, what you want to add into your life, what you want to take away from your life, all that clarity is going to get you closer to where you want to be. And that clarity is going to help you really stick with your goals too. Because when you're not clear, it's a lot easier to be like, I can just not worry about that, or I can just push that off to the side. That clarity is really that first step that's going to get you to a whole new level than what you've ever been at before. Okay. So the next step here is we're going to create smarter goals. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys listening are familiar with SMART goals, something that's been taught for years. I was taught this in school, right? We're doing SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Okay. And we're going to break each one of those down. But I want to do smarter goals this year because we're going to be smarter in 2025. So we are going to add the ER. We're going to add energy and we're going to add realistic to this. So let's break it down. Okay. So smarter goals. First and foremost, the S, specific. You got to be specific. This is where that clarity plays into all this. All right. So answer who, what, when, where, why when it comes to your goal. The more specific, the better it is. Okay. The M, measurable. Make sure that your goal is measurable in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So ask yourself, when do you want to achieve this by? All right. How will you know that the goal is achieved? All right. Is there a specific number or metric that you want to meet? This is very easy with like financial goals and weight loss goals. It can get a little bit more tricky when you have some other goals in there, like maybe writing a book, right? That's one of my goals this year is to finish my book. But to make it the goal measurable, I can say, okay, so by June, I want to have the whole first draft done, right? By September, I want to have the first edit done, and you can layer it that way. Next, A, achievable. What do you need to achieve this goal? Do you have the resources available to you? Do you have the time available to you? And if not, what do you need to do to make this goal achievable? What resources do you need, right? Do you maybe need to do some research? Do you maybe need to go meet some new people? Whatever that goal is, what is going to make it the most achievable for you? R, relevant. Okay, this is going to tie to your why. All right, you have to make sure that the goal that you're setting is actually going to get you somewhere in the future, right? Like, is this actually relevant to what you want in your life, to who you want to be? Okay. So for me, like I said, one of my goals is finishing my book this year. It's not really relevant for me to spend a lot of time taking classes on cooking or something this year, right? Because that's not really relevant to where I want to be in the grand scheme of things. Now, maybe if I'm looking for something to do on the weekends or want a way to connect with my partner better or just find something fun to do, then maybe I can set a goal to do something outside of my comfort zone and take a cooking class. Okay, but when you are looking at your big goals, make sure everything that you are doing is relevant and relates back to those big goals. The T, timely. When do you want to achieve this goal by? How much time do you need to achieve the goal? When do you want to start seeing progress? This is similar to measurable, but you need to get clear, like, okay, again, writing a book. This isn't something that's going to be done in 30 days. Okay, this is something that's going to be done over a long span of time. I had started writing this book. Geez, I originally started writing this book probably almost 2 years ago now. It's been quite a work in progress. Um, but you need to, again, be real with yourself. How much time do you need to achieve this goal, right? Like if your goal is to set, or excuse me, to lose 50 pounds this year, don't say you're going to lose 50 pounds in 30 days, right? That's not healthy or really too possible unless you're on some kind of extreme plan here. Um, but it's more realistic to say, hey, I need 6 months or 9 months or a year to lose these 50 pounds. Okay. All right, so let's go even further here into this smarter goals. So the E is energy. Okay, what is the energy that you are going to bring towards making this goal a reality? Okay, how are you going to feel when this goal is achieved? How are you going to feel while you're actively working towards this goal? Okay. Something that I talk about a lot is embodiment. And being able to embody the emotions that you want to feel is huge when it comes to manifestation, to regulating your emotions, and to really getting into that space, that mental space of being your highest self. So when you can imagine, hey, when I reach this goal, I'm going to be so fucking excited and so proud of myself, right? Just imagine if you embodied that feeling today when you start the goal. Imagine what difference that's going to make. If you could be super excited and super proud of yourself today, right? Instead of waiting till the end, right? Practice embodying those emotions throughout the process of reaching your goals. And last but not least, the R, realistic. Be real with yourself. Okay. Are you creating a goal that is not going to overwhelm you? Are you creating this goal for personal reasons and not for anyone else? That is a big one, right? I have a lot of clients that set goals and they're like, oh, I want to go to the gym this year because I really want that guy to like me. Girl, no, we're not doing that. Mm-mm. We're setting goals for ourselves. We are not setting goals for other people. And we're damn sure not setting goals for men. Okay. We're setting goals for ourselves this year. All right. Are you creating this goal knowing that you will have time to commit? Okay. This realistic factor is huge, right? Like if you are a single mom and you have a extremely tight schedule, it might be difficult for you to add these things into your life. Now, don't worry, I'm going to give you some time management hacks here in a couple minutes. We'll get there. But again, be realistic with yourself, right? So for me, when it comes to like my workout goals for this year. A lot of times, since I work in a restaurant, I work late a lot of the time. It's not going to be realistic for me to be like, okay, my goal is to work out every day after work. That's not going to happen because a lot of times I might not get home till 11 o'clock or midnight. I am not going to the gym after I just work for 8 hours at midnight. It's not happening, right? So as far as my fitness goal, the realistic aspect of that is that the time of day that I'm going to the gym is going to fluctuate, right? It's going to depend on what my schedule is that day, what's going on. Maybe things come up and I don't get to go, and that's okay. We're going to talk about that too. But again, the big thing here is really just being realistic with yourself and making sure that you are setting things that are going to work for you, right? You don't want to set yourself up for failure from the beginning because that's when we lose that motivation. That's when we stop paying attention to our goals. That's when we give up, right? All right, so smarter goals or creating smarter goals this year, people. Okay, making the goal a reality. Now, here's the secret, guys. To making that really big goal of yours a reality, you have to reverse engineer the goal into small, actionable steps. Okay, small steps. Because when we bite off more than we can chew, again, that's when we fall off track. That's when we get overwhelmed and burned out and we give up a lot easier. So here's what that might look like for you. Maybe your goal is to start a business in 2025. All right. So the first thing you want to do is create a list of everything that you need to do in order to make that goal a reality. So you need to create a vision for your business. You need to create a name for your business. You need a business plan. You need to figure out who your ideal customer is. You got to create your social media pages. You got to, you got to plan what you're going to offer, create your price points, create your marketing plan. Now, here's the thing. Do not wake up on a Monday morning and say, all right, I am reaching my goal today and I'm going to do all 8 of these things today. I promise you, you're going to get burnt out, right? Now, that doesn't apply to everybody, okay? Some people might be able to sit down and do all these things in one day and fucking nail it. I am not one of those people, okay? I have ADHD and I have a lot going on in my life. So I am not going to have the time to sit down and do all of these things in one day. So here's what you do. You break it down into smaller tasks, okay? Maybe today you create the vision for your business. Tomorrow you think of the name. The next day, or maybe over the next 3 or 4 days, you work on your business plan. Okay. The point here is to break it down into small steps. Okay. You cannot do everything at once, and that's okay. You are human. All right. The more that you're able to break this down into smaller steps, the better. So taking this even a step further, right? You have your foundation. So what's your brand? What are you going to share on social media? What value are you going to give to your customer, right? You have to create a post every day. You got to sell every day, right? These are all things about having a business. But again, you break them down into smaller tasks, one thing at a time. Okay. Give yourself some grace, right? We're all human. We got stuff going on, and that's okay. All right. The more you're able to break it down, the better. All right. So let's talk about building and sustaining new habits. Okay. So first things first, I want to address the elephant in the room because we're all thinking it, right? Why is it so much easier to fall off track than it is to actually stick with the new habits and stay motivated, right? I'm giving you all these things and I'm sure you're like, that's great. And I've tried them in the past, but I give up. By February, by March, I'm, not doing anything anymore. I'm falling back into old patterns, into old routines, right? We don't want that for you this year. This year is going to be different. 2025 is a year of no excuses. All right. So, why is it so much easier to just fall off track? Why is it so much easier for us to stay in our comfort zones than it is for us to expand and to try new things and to really get out there? It's because you're human, and it's because setbacks are normal. Okay. You just cannot allow them to define you, right? Everybody experiences setbacks. Every single person listening on whatever platform you're listening on right now, I know that every single one of you has experienced some kind of setback in your life, right? Because again, we're freaking human. It's life. That's what happens. Okay. So how do we work through it? So what kind of setbacks are you guys facing? For me, a lot of it is life, right? Unexpected events, unexpected things happening. Maybe you're a mom and you had a plan today to clean and do the laundry and go to the gym and cook a fabulous dinner. Well, an hour after your kid gets to school, you get a call from the school nurse that they're puking everywhere. Then what? Guess your day is totally thrown off track? Not necessarily. Yeah, you got to go pick up your kid from school. Yeah, you might need to take them to the doctors or go somewhere and get some medicine. You might have to tend to them for a little while. Absolutely. You're a mom, that's your first priority. Now, here's the thing. What do you do with that? Are you then talking negatively to yourself, shaming yourself for saying, oh my gosh, I didn't go to the gym today like I said I was going to do. I didn't clean today like I said I was going to do. I didn't get that laundry done. Oh my gosh, I suck. I'm a horrible mom. I can't do this. I know that you guys have fallen into that trap. I have, and I know so many people that also have, right? It's life. It happens, right? The thing we have to remember is that we cannot talk negatively to ourselves. We cannot start shaming ourselves simply because life happened. Okay. Maybe you are on your way to the gym and a car accident happens up in front of you, and it is a complete, they shut the whole road down and you are at a complete standstill, right? You're sitting there for over an hour. You were only planning on being at the gym for an hour because you had to go to work later, right? Your whole day's thrown off now. What are you going to do? Are you going to let that get in your head? Are you going to tell yourself that you're a horrible person because you didn't get to the gym because something happened that was completely out of your control? I'm not going to lie. I've done it, I'm sure a lot of us have, but that's okay. We have to shift out of that. We have to remember life freaking happens and it's okay. All right. Another thing that I see a lot of people doing that causes these setbacks is these unrealistic expectations. And that's why those smarter goals are so freaking important, because we have to get clear. We have to figure out what's going on. We have to make sure our goals are realistic, right? When we bite off more than we can chew, it's so much easier to fall off, right? So there are probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 different random habits that I want to start this year, right? I did not start them all. Hell no. I'm not going to start them all in one day because I'm going to get overwhelmed. I'm going to get burnt out. It might work for a day. I might wake up and do my self-love ritual and hit the gym and eat healthy for every single meal that day. And, um, I might go out on a date that night. I might dress cute. I might get some laundry done, and I might have a great day. And I might be able to sustain that for a few days. But it's very difficult for your brain to allow all of those different changes at once. Okay, your brain doesn't like change. Your brain does not like change. It likes to stay in its comfy little warm, cozy comfort zone and do what it's been doing and stick to the routines that it knows and stick to the habits that it knows. It doesn't like change, okay? And when you are creating these new habits in your life, you're creating a new routine in your life, you are quite literally creating new neurological connections in your brain, okay? You are becoming a new person, all right? So you have to be patient with yourself in order to create neurological change in your brain, all right? So stop setting unrealistic expectations. Stop putting too much on your plate at once. Do things in small increments. Add things one thing at a time. Um, and give yourself grace. Another thing that I see with this is with working out. Okay. So in 2022, I was in like the best shape of my life. I was going to the gym like 5 or 6 times a week for like 2.5 hours, and I felt freaking amazing. I want to get back to that. Okay. I've been to the gym on and off for the past couple years. And I started in the fall a lot, but then I had a whole bunch of personal stuff happen. I moved. Um, there was just life was happening. So I wasn't going to the gym. Well, earlier this week, I started back to the gym again. But guess what? Your girl was not there for 2 freaking hours because I know that my body would not be able to handle that. And I would more than likely not be able to walk the next day. And I need to be able to walk. I need to be able to get around. I value my legs. I value them, not hurting when I try to sit on the toilet. That's a really nice luxury that we have is not being in pain. But if you know, you know, you go to the gym for leg day, just trying to go to the bathroom can be horrible, right? Just going up and down. Um, but I'm not going to do that to myself. So I'm easing myself in. I'm not setting myself up with these unrealistic expectations of being in the gym for 2 hours a day because I know that my body is not at that level yet and can't handle that yet. Okay. So, while my goal is to get to that, right now I'm taking it slow. Going to the gym for an hour, doing just a few exercises, right? My goal is to be running 2 miles straight by June. I'm not running 2 miles straight right now. Most of what I did on the treadmill today was walking. All right. I'm giving my body the time that it needs. I'm not setting myself up for failure. Because here's the other thing, especially with working out, you go to the gym and you push yourself and you're so freaking sore you can't move the next day. Guess what? You're not going to go to the gym the next day, right? You're not going to go to the gym probably for the next 2 or 3 days because your body's going to be so sore. So then you're already getting out of the habit and you're probably talking like crap to yourself. Like, geez, I took 3 days off. Like, what am I going to do? I can't get back into this. I'm so bad at this, blah, 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 blah. You start with the negative self-talk, you start with the spiraling, and it just creates this whole thing all over again. Okay. We're not going to do that. How are we going to get out of that? How are we going to get out of that? Let's talk about it. Okay. The first step to overcoming your setbacks is a mindset shift. Okay. And there's a couple different mindset shifts that we need to make. First and foremost, we have to stop viewing failure as this like big, horrible thing. Okay. Failure is feedback. Failure equals feedback. Okay. So if you fail at something, take that as a lesson. What can you learn from it? What can you do differently the next time to make it a success? Okay. Everything in your life is a lesson. I cannot stress this enough. I don't care if it is, not achieving a goal or not being able to do something right off the bat or being in a relationship, right? Like there's just lessons come in every shape and form, every color, every whatever, right? We all have experienced some kind of failure in our life, right? But the more that you look at that as failure and let that word stick in your mind that you quote unquote failed at something, the harder it's going to be to get back in to something and get back into that thing afterwards, right? Because you're going to talk like shit to yourself. Now, what if you did a shift around that? What if you're like, damn, this didn't work, but what can I learn from this? What can I do differently? How can I create a shift the next time I do this to make it better? Okay. Another mindset shift that we have to make in order to make our goals a reality, in order to thrive in 25, is we got to get out of this fixed mindset. Okay. For those of you that have not heard the term fixed mindset versus growth mindset, let me share. So, a fixed mindset, there are people out there that truly believe that, and no judgment if you believe this and you're listening right now, but there are people that believe that we are born with all the knowledge that we will ever have. Okay. There are a different way of looking at things, a growth mindset, if you will, of people like myself that believe that you can learn and you can grow and you can, adapt new things in your life. You can learn new things. You can become a different person. You can change, right? A growth mindset is what you need if you are going to be setting big goals. Because if you have that fixed mindset, you're going to be like, well, you know what? I've never written a book before. And, yeah, I kind of want to write a book, but I don't know how. So I'm not even going to try. When you have a growth mindset, you're going to be like, you know what? I want to write a book. How do I do that? You're going to look into ways to do that. You're going to research it. You're going to talk to people. You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to just do it. You're going to just start typing and start doing the damn thing, right? Those people with fixed mindsets don't get out of their comfort zones. They stay stuck. Okay. We don't want to do that in 2025. We are going to be growth mindset oriented and we're going to create some real freaking change in our lives. The last mindset shift that I would love for everybody to make is getting out of this all or nothing mentality. Okay, that's kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, where you're like, oh, I want to start journaling and meditating and doing affirmations and working out and eating healthy, right? Trying to do all those things right off the bat, all or nothing, is going to be really, really freaking hard. Um, we've already touched on this, but this all or nothing mentality is really what keeps a lot of people stuck because they start doing this and then they're like, oh shit, this is a lot. I already got a lot of other things going on. And now I'm trying to add all these 20 other things to this. You get overwhelmed, you get burnt out. Okay. We have to shift out of that. We have to allow ourselves to see things in a different perspective. So here are a few tips to help you overcome some setbacks. First and foremost, give yourself permission to pivot. Okay. Things are going to change. Things are going to come up. You might need to shift the goal a little bit, right? You might realize, oh man, this is going to take a little bit more time than I thought, or this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. So you have to pivot. All right. That doesn't mean that you failed. Take this as an opportunity to learn. What can you do differently, right? That's one of the shifts that we're making, right? Allowing yourself to pivot, allowing yourself to make those small changes and not being hard on yourself, not giving yourself a guilt trip, not feeling shame about it, not talking like crap to yourself because you decided to change a little bit, right? You're allowed to create change. You're allowed to pivot from whatever your original plan was. Number two, be compassionate with yourself. Y'all, you're human. You're human. Be patient. Okay. Again, you are creating whole new neurological connections in your brain. Imagine, like, okay, women, when we are creating life, when we are pregnant, having a baby, we are creating this human being inside of us, right? Your body is doing amazing things. Okay. It's creating life. It's creating bones. It's creating, organs. It's doing all this crazy stuff, right? We are compassionate and patient with pregnant women, right? Because we know that they are doing something incredible. But here's the thing. When you are creating these changes, you are implementing new things into your life, you are trying to create a change, you are also doing something incredible. Okay. You are creating these new connections in your brain. Okay. So be compassionate, be patient with yourself. All right. It's not something that's just going to click overnight and you're going to wake up tomorrow and be this person that wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes to the gym and journals every day and does this, 2-hour self-love ritual and then is eating like a completely different diet than what you've been eating for the past 10 years of your life. Like, I'm just going to cut out all chocolate and all the sugar and all the caffeine. It's hard. It's really freaking hard. Okay. And that's okay to admit. So you have to be compassionate and be patient with yourself. All right, we got a comment over here. They have a new saying that life be lifing, but at this point, the focus on getting things done without being overwhelmed is so important. Absolutely. Life do be lifing, girl. It does. Let me tell you. There are some crazy things that have happened to me over the past 6 months. I'm not even going to get into it right now, but it has been very interesting. I've learned a lot. But along the way, trying to implement new things, trying to create some change in my life, it's been hard because life be lifing, right? But we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to keep being compassionate. The next thing here to overcome your setbacks is to focus on the recovery. Okay. So instead of focusing so much on perfection and making sure that you do everything that you say you're going to do in the quote unquote perfect way, just focus on recovery, right? What are you going to do when things fall off, right? And I love this mantra, never miss twice. All right. It's okay if life happens and you miss a day at the gym, but don't miss twice, right? It's okay if life happens and you don't get to journal that day, but never miss twice. It's okay if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I do not want this freaking protein shake or these egg whites right now. Okay? Eat the donut and then tomorrow have the protein shake and the egg whites, okay? Never miss twice, right? It's okay to miss once. It's okay. You're freaking human. All right. But if we can focus on that recovery and pushing forward and being like, again, being compassionate with yourself, being like, it's okay. It was a day. It's fine. We're just going to start tomorrow. We're going to start over tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I don't know where this idea came from, where it's like, oh, you decided that you were going to start a goal on Monday and then by Wednesday you fell off. Oh, you might as well give up. You're horrible. You suck. Why do we think that way? It's not like that at all. It doesn't have to be like that. It's only like that because you created that story in your mind that that is how things have to go. So let's change the story. Let's flip the script. All right. Let's focus on the recovery. Let's focus on moving forward and moving the needle forward and creating that change. Okay. All right, so next we're going to go through some tips for creating new habits in your life and getting them to stick. All right, the first thing here is called habit stacking. All right, and this is something that I implemented within the past maybe 4 months into my life. And it has been a game changer for me. So let me explain. So habit stacking means that you are adding a new habit behind or along with something that you already do every day. All right. So you're already waking up every day and brushing your teeth, right? At least most of us are, I hope. Okay. We're waking up, we're brushing our teeth. All right. What if while you were brushing your teeth, you ran through your affirmations in your mind? Or even better, okay, what if you had sticky notes on your mirror so that every time you went into the bathroom, you read through your affirmations every time, whether it was to brush your teeth, do your makeup, go to the bathroom, whatever. Every time you go into that bathroom, you read through your affirmations. Okay. Habit stacking. Um, Maybe you want to really focus on skincare. Okay. And every night you want to be doing skincare and putting on, I do a lotion and I got my castor oil and I got my under eye um little masks or whatever the hell they're called. Um, you know, I am adding that behind when I go into the bathroom to take my makeup off at night. I'm immediately jumping into the skincare. Okay. So the habit stacking is adding a new habit behind or along with something you already do. Another really good one is your morning coffee. Okay. I know a lot of people, I don't drink coffee, but I know a lot of people have your Keurigs now or like these automated coffee machines so you can have your lattes and your cappuccinos or whatever the hell at home. Okay. And that's great. And I love that for you. But when you're standing there waiting for your coffee machine to heat up or for your coffee to be made, what are you doing? I'm guessing that you're probably scrolling on social media, right? You're flipping through your phone, looking at what happened overnight that you missed. Okay. What if you replaced scrolling on social media with journaling while you wait for your coffee to be made, right? Or maybe you just sit down and close your eyes and just take some deep breaths until you hear your coffee finish. Okay, there are so many different ways that you can do this. You have to get creative. You got to look at what habits you already have, what kind of things are going to stay in your life, and what you can add to them. Okay. Um, Maybe you want to start listening to more podcasts this year. So make it a habit that every time that you're in the car, you listen to a podcast instead of just listening to the radio. Okay. Like you can do this in so many different ways. But habit stacking, make sure you're doing it. Give it a try. Next thing, 2-minute rule. This is called a 2-minute rule, but the gist is here is really just doing things in small increments and working your way up. Okay. So say you do want to, the best example with this is meditating, right? If you want to start meditating, you're like, oh, I want to meditate for 20 minutes a day. If you've never meditated before, let me tell you, trying to meditate for 20 minutes is going to be really hard. It's difficult. So start with 2 minutes. Meditate for 2 minutes every day for a week or 2 weeks. And then after that, bump it up to 4 minutes. And then after that, bump it up to 6 minutes. Okay. And do it gradually. Okay. This is kind of similar to what I was talking about before with the working out. Okay. I want to eventually run 2 miles straight. That's my goal. But I know I can't do that right now. So instead, I might run for 2 minutes and then walk for 2 minutes. Run for 2 minutes, walk for 2 minutes, run for 2 minutes, walk for 2 minutes, and do that. Maybe next week or the week after, when I'm on the treadmill, I might run for 4 minutes and walk for two. And then eventually maybe I'm running for 5 minutes and walking for one, right? So the thing here is just do things incrementally, okay? Don't try to do everything at once because not only is it going to be really difficult for something that you've never done before, but it's going to be overwhelming. And when you get overwhelmed, it's a lot easier for you to be like, now screw this, I'm not doing it, right? And we're doing things differently this year, everybody. No excuses. So let's build upon that in a small incremental way. My next tip for creating new habits is having visual cues and reminders. Okay, this is the sticky notes on the mirrors. This is the whiteboard. I have a whiteboard on my wall over here. So kind of getting off track, but one of my big things that I love to do in the new year is to create a word for the year. Okay, and this is kind of my motivation. This is what I'm sticking to. This is my vision for the year. This year, my word is detachment because I have stories and beliefs and excuses that I need to detach myself from if I want to reach that next level me. So I have a whiteboard on my wall over here that has a list of everything that I am detaching from this year. And every time that I walk out of my bedroom, I read through this list. Okay. And it's a reminder. These are the things that you are letting go of. Okay. So maybe it looks different for you. Maybe your biggest struggle is your diet. Okay. And you really want to focus on eating healthier, on drinking more water this year, on getting more protein, all those things. Okay. So maybe you put sticky notes on your fridge that says, I am worthy of eating healthy. I am worthy of a healthy body. I am my intention is to live a healthy life. Um, there's so many different ways that you can do this. Get creative. Do what speaks to you. All right. This is where that honesty comes into play, that curiosity comes into play. Um, I love just sitting down with my journal and just writing a bunch of things, a bunch of different affirmations, and use ones that stick out to you. Um, if you follow me on social media, on TikTok and on Instagram, I post videos every couple of days that have affirmations that you can use. You can go to Pinterest and type in affirmations for healthy eating, affirmations for motivation, whatever, and get a whole bunch of ideas. Okay. No excuses. There are ways that you can come up with some stuff. All right. Okay. Next tip, celebrate progress, not perfection. Okay, I also kind of touched on this a little bit before, but a lot of the time when we start a new goal, in our minds, we have to do everything perfect, right? Because if we're not perfect, then we suck. That's the only other explanation that we can come up with. Crazy. But no, we're not going to be able to do everything perfect from the beginning. Let's be real, right? Some things that you might be adding into your life are things that you've never done before. So why would you be perfect at that? You're not going to be perfect at that. And that is okay. You have to celebrate the progress that you're making, not the perfection of it. Okay. So I know that I'm not going to um, be like this world class lifter, like strength person, whatever, right? Like I was proud of myself today for going to the gym in the morning. Right? Like I did not want to make any excuses this year. So with this webinar and then I have work later tonight, like I knew that if I didn't go this morning, I wasn't going to go to the gym today. And I had told myself that I was going to go to the gym today. So rather than making this perfect workout and doing everything that I might normally do, I just went to the gym for like 45 minutes and just busted out something just so that I was moving my body. I stuck to my word and I made a little bit of progress, right? For me to get up at 7:30 this morning to go walk the dog and then go to the gym. Look, you guys might not know me very well just yet, but you will. You will. We're going to be spending these Saturdays together, so you will get to know me. But here's a little tip. I'm not a morning person, okay? So to get up and go to the gym first thing in the morning was a big step in my progress when it comes to working out. So I was really proud of myself for that. So make sure that you are not focusing on that perfection. You are not putting all this pressure on yourself to do everything quote unquote perfectly. And instead, you're just focusing on making those steps forward, right? Take a step forward. That's it. Don't focus on the perfection. Okay. And track your progress, right? There are all kinds of habit trackers out there. You can do this in your phone, all kinds of things. All right. Let's talk about time management, right? So, with adding all new habits into our life, new goals into our life, we got to make time for it, right? We're already very busy people. I'm sure every person on here has got stuff going on, and I appreciate you all taking the time out to join us today. Um, but we got stuff going on, right? We got stuff going on. So how are we going to make time for these new habits, for these new routines, for these goals? Well, let's talk about it. So first and foremost, I want to remind you guys, stop chasing time. Start managing it. Take control and create the life you desire because you are in control. All right. Other people are not in control as much as we might fight that, and we might tell ourselves otherwise. All the other people in your life are not in control. You are in control. You choose what you want to do with your time. Okay. So take back control. Stop chasing time. Stop trying to squeeze things in. Make the time. All right. So we're going to break down each one of these things in more detail, but the 5 tips that I'm going to give you for managing your time like a pro, number 1 is time blocking. Number 2, batching your tasks. Number 3, prioritizing. And I'm going to give you 2 different methods that you can use to prioritize. Doing a weekly planning or a daily planning review. And number 5, doing a distraction detox. So let's break it down. All right. So this is an example of time blocking and batching. Okay. This was my schedule for this past week. For those of you, actually, for those of you on TikTok, let's turn my screen around here so you can see a little bit. All right, I think that's working. Oh, why did it? What is this? So I haven't been active enough. Oh my God. Okay. So that's what my schedule looks like, guys. Okay. As you can see, I literally schedule everything. My self-love ritual, the gym, creating content, recording podcasts. I got my daughter's practices on here, night routines, a date with my man was on here, all my stuff for work. If you look down there on Sunday, at was that 7 o'clock, review next week's calendar. Hint, hint, we're going to be moving ahead to that in a minute. But you see, I schedule everything, and you put it into these time blocks and put it on your schedule, right? Now, why do I do that? Because, as I mentioned earlier, your girl has got ADHD. So I really struggle with making sure that I am doing what I need to be doing when I need to be doing it. So I put everything on my schedule. Now, batching means putting similar tasks together. Okay, so for example, if you look at Monday's day, I had create IG posts for the week and create TikTok content for the week, back to back, an hour of each. But I put it together because when I start making content, it all just kind of flows together, right? Like I get into this rhythm and I can start knocking stuff out, and it's great. I also add recording the podcast there because that's another creative thing for me. So you want to put things together that make sense. Okay, so all your creative things together. So if you see on Wednesday here, I have certifications and then I have business time, right? This is when I'm more in my like masculine energy and I'm learning things. And I'm taking care of different business tasks that I might need to do, like creating some emails, or maybe doing some landing pages or whatever that looks like. All right. So the point here is really putting things together that are similar in what they are, and just creating these time blocks for yourself to do. Okay, does that make sense for everybody? Okay. All right, so here are a couple prioritization hacks that you can do. These are two different methods. They're very similar. So whatever makes most sense in your brain, do that. Okay. So the first one is the Eisenhower method. This one is the one where you want to create like a basically a giant plus sign on your piece of paper, making 4 different quadrants on your paper. And each quadrant is going to be something different. So the first one is going to be urgent and important. Okay, so this is everything that needs your immediate attention. Okay, the next block is going to be important but not urgent. Okay, tasks that you really need to do, and can contribute to your long-term goals, but things that can be planned, right? And you can schedule it out. Your next block is going to be urgent but not important. Okay, maybe they're time sensitive, but they don't require you to specifically do it yourself. So you can delegate these tasks. Okay. And then your last quadrant here is not urgent and not important. And guess what? This is shit that we're eliminating. Okay. This is stuff that we are subtracting from our life. Scrolling social media is listed here as the example. Okay. So take all your tasks for the day and put them into whichever quadrant they make sense for, and then go from there. All right. Um, so then the other method you can try here is the ABCD method. All right. And you can do this still with like making the 4 quadrants and putting A, B, C, D in each one. Maybe you just make lists A, B, C, D, however you want to do this one. But A are your high priority. Okay, the things that must be done today. These are the critical tasks, and there are serious consequences if these are ignored. Okay, so maybe this is something with your kids, or something with work, or something with your business. B is a medium priority. Okay, it should be done soon, but it's not quite as urgent. C is low priority. right? These are nice to have tasks, and there's no consequence if they're delayed, but they're things that you still want to get done. Like for me, a low priority is folding my laundry. Okay. I got my like actually doing the laundry is a high priority because, who wants to be wearing stinky clothes? We're not doing that. Um, but folding the actual clothes, not so much of a priority in my life. Um, and then D, delegate or delete these tasks. Okay, these are tasks that somebody else can handle or that are completely unnecessary. Okay, so again, these are two different methods, kind of the same idea. But this is a great way to really break things down and see what things are not that you're spending time on that are not actually moving the needle forward. Okay. This is a great way to sit down and be like, damn, I spent a lot of time today watching Netflix. I did not need to be doing that. Right. So take the time, break this down, and see what comes of it. Next here, as you saw on my calendar, I do a weekly review of my calendar. What wasn't on there is in my morning routine, I look at my calendar for the entire day and go through everything that I have going on. The reason that I do this is number one, so that I can mentally prepare for my day and also mentally prepare for the week. But it also gives me a chance to make adjustments if necessary, right? So if I know that, hey, this thing came up, I'm gonna have to do this today, so I'm gonna have to move some things around. If I plan for that ahead of time and think about that ahead of time, um, when it comes time to like go throughout my day, I'm not looking at a schedule that said, go to the gym, go create content, do all these things that I didn't have time for. Right. Because then in my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be doing all these things and I didn't do these things. And now I feel like crap about myself and I get frustrated and just annoyed. But instead, if I start my day and I'm like, okay, I was going to make content today, but this other thing came up, or like my work schedule changed. I got to pick up a shift or whatever. So I'm going to move things around. And remember from before, we're making these mindset shifts. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to make changes if necessary. All right. That's why this weekly and daily planning is so important, is to review your schedule, make that time, and allow yourself the space to be like, okay, things are changing. It's all right. Okay. I love my planning time. My Sunday nights when I do my whole week ahead, um, I spend probably about an hour going through and like adding in my schedule for work for the next week, moving things around slightly, doing whatever. And also like on my calendar, I didn't have like cleaning and stuff in there. If one of your big struggles is making time to clean or do your laundry or whatever, make a time block on there for household chores or for family time, right? This can look however you want it to look. All right, my last tip here when it comes to time management is doing a distraction detox. So, what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of everything that distracts you. TikTok, Instagram, Netflix, um, maybe your partner. Maybe they can be pretty distracting. Maybe you get distracted by cleaning, right? Maybe you like love to clean and you get really distracted and you fall into cleaning all the time when you should be doing other things. Whatever the thing is that distracts you, make a list and then set a boundary. Okay, set a boundary. So I think for a lot of people, one of our big distractions is social media, right? Scrolling, doom scrolling, they call it now, right? Um, Set a timer on your phone. Like, all right, I'm going to scroll for 10 minutes. That's it. The other nice thing with iPhones, I don't know if you can do this on Androids or not, but I'm an iPhone girly, but you can set screen time limits. Like you can literally set a time on your phone where you're like, okay, I only want to be on allowed on Instagram for an hour a day. Okay, and when your hour's up, your phone will lock that app and you won't be able to use it anymore. Right? So if you really need those really hard boundaries, do that. Maybe your biggest distraction is watching Netflix, okay? Set a boundary around that. Say, okay, I only can watch one episode of my show a day. Or maybe you're like, Saturdays are my TV days. No other days am I going to watch TV, right? However makes sense for you, whatever you is feeling good to you, do that. But setting those boundaries around these distractions is going to help if you have that outline ahead of time and can say, okay, these are the things that distract me. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. That awareness makes a huge fucking difference because it's so easy otherwise to be like, oh, it's been 5 hours of watching TV. I didn't even realize it, right? We just like do it because it's a habit. But remember, we're creating new habits. So in order to do that, we got to bring some awareness, we got to bring some structure and some discipline. Okay, that's where this distraction detox comes into play. All right, so we are getting towards the end of this thing. We're going to end with talking about staying motivated. Does anybody have any questions so far about anything that I have talked about? I'm looking at chats. I don't see any questions coming through. No questions. Okay. We're going to have some time here. This is not going to take me another 20 minutes to get through this. So we'll still have some time here at the end for some extra chatting, extra questions or whatever. Okay. And I'm also going to post all my contact information at the end. So if you think of questions later today or tomorrow or whatever, feel free to reach out. I am here to help. All right. All right, so let's keep pushing forward. Let's talk about staying motivated. All right. Here's the thing. Motivation comes from a strong connection to your goals and intentions. All right, guys, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the class. You have to get connected to your goals. You have to get connected to these intentions. That personal connection is going to help you stay motivated. Okay. So you have to use your values as inspiration, making your goals personal and having a super, super strong why. So here, I'm going to list off a bunch of tools that you guys can use to stay motivated. First and foremost, the 3 why tool. Okay, this is another new tool that I recently learned about, but it is so freaking phenomenal. Okay. Oops, sorry. The 3 why tool. So like I said, you want to have a why, all right? So what example? Let's use a weight loss example because I think a lot of people can relate to that. So maybe your goal for this year is to lose some weight and get fit. Why? Ask yourself why. Because I want to have more energy. Why? Ask that second layer of why. Why do you want to have more energy? So that I can play with my kids, so that I can reach all my goals, so that I have, the energy to do all these new habits and routines that I'm implementing in my life. Why? A third why. Why is that piece important? Because I want to improve my life and I want to, reach these new goals and I want to be a better version of myself. Okay. The 3 why tool, getting deeper and deeper. If you guys, I'm hoping everybody knows Shrek, okay? Remember when Donkey's talking about the layers of the onion, right? And you breaking down the layers. That's what this is, all right? We're going deeper into our why. So you take whatever goal, intention that you have, and then you ask yourself, why? What's my why? Why do I want that? And then you ask why again. What is the why behind what you just said? And then you ask that third level why. Okay. Why? 3 whys. 3 why tool. So get super deep. It's going to help with your clarity. It's going to help with, you really having that deep connection to your goal. Okay. So that's the first tip here, using the 3 why tool. Next one, victory party. Listen, your girl loves a good party. Okay. and I love to celebrate myself. So we're going to celebrate. Every time that we make some progress in our goals, we're going to celebrate. Okay? Have a victory party, have a dance party, right? Like if you went to the gym 4 days straight, have a freaking party for yourself, girl. Be so proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself, okay? Having these time where we can just celebrate ourselves and be happy for ourselves, not only does it give us something to look forward to, right? Because again, who doesn't love a good party? Um, but it gives us that extra little bit of energy and like pep in our step. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. I'm so proud of myself, right? You can smile, you can have a good time, you can let loose. Like I love just kind of putting on some music and dancing and celebrating myself. It feels so fucking good. Okay, I promise it will feel good. So celebrate your wins with a victory party. Third tip here, make it fun. Okay, I'll tell you what, I am not motivated, like I said, to do laundry. But you know what? When I got some music on, I got my favorite music on, and I can dance a little bit while I'm folding my laundry, I get it done a lot quicker. Or at least in my brain, it seems like it went by a lot quicker, right? Because sitting in silence and thinking about all the things that I need to do that day while I fold laundry and telling myself, gosh, I hate folding laundry, it seems like it takes forever, right? And then you're miserable by the end of it, right? What if you made it fun? Put some music on, dance while you do it, right? Maybe you make a game out of it. Maybe you're like, all right, I'm gonna pull out all my socks and make sure that they all match and put those matches together. And then my next thing I'm gonna do is all the t-shirts. Let me fold those. Let me see how good I can fold them or how quickly I can fold them, right? Like make it a game, make it fun, right? And you can do this with everything in your life, okay? Now, I always tend to go back to music because music is my heart. Music is what lights me up. Dancing lights me up. So that's usually my personal go-to to make things fun because that's fun to me. Okay. If I can add music and dance while I'm doing something, that's what I'm gonna fucking do. But whatever your version of fun is, do that. Make things fun. Everything doesn't have to be serious all the time. Okay. We can laugh, we can have a good time, we can smile while we do things. Maybe you're working on a really serious project for work, but you can make it fun by, again, putting on some music, dancing around, again, make it a game, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. This is another favorite of mine. Keep a wins folder. Okay, keep a wins folder on your phone. So maybe you have take pictures. Maybe it's screenshots of something that you do. Like my wins folder has like I take pictures of my body so that I can see my progression as I'm working out. So like when I hit those progress those like different points of progress in my journey, I'll upload it, put a new picture in there. I'm like, damn, look how good I look, right? Um, if I get a really stellar review from a client, I'll screenshot it and put it in my wins folder as a reminder that, damn, like I am a good fucking coach, right? Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you just add a note in there, right? And list all your wins. But create a place where all of your achievements are in one place and go back and reflect on that. Look at that. Whenever you start feeling a lack of motivation, go back and look at that wins folder and be like, damn, I did do the thing. I did this, this, and this. And that felt so freaking good. So guess what? I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to do it again, right? It's going to light you up. It's going to put a little spark under your ass and it's going to get you going. All right. Fresh environment, fresh company is always super motivating. Okay. There are a lot of times. So if you guys can see where I'm at right now, I'm in my bedroom. I have like I mentioned earlier, I moved recently. I moved into an apartment, so it's not quite as big as what I've had before. So I have my office set up here in my bedroom. Sometimes it's really hard to be in here and get work done. So I have to change up my environment and go somewhere else. My daughter plays volleyball and she had a tournament last weekend, and I brought my iPad, and I was actually working on this presentation a bit, and I was so freaking productive. I was just like in a new place, right? There was like 2 hours in between her games. So I jumped on my iPad and I knocked that shit out, right? Sometimes just being in a different place can make all the difference. Another thing is fresh company, right? Who you surround yourself with matters. Okay. So surround yourself with inspiring people, with people who are doing the things that you want to be doing. All right. This can be super motivating. When you, especially a good example of this is the gym, right? Say you're really trying to get into the gym and you have that friend that you work with, or somebody that you've just been friends with forever, and they go to the gym, they're a gym rat, they're killing it. They're like, look, I want to be like you. Can I come to the gym with you? Right? It can be super motivating to see somebody who's where you want to be kicking ass and be like, damn, like I can do this too. Right? So again, fresh environment, fresh company, surround yourself with people and in the places that you want to be. Okay, accountability counts. Have an accountability partner. Have an accountability partner. Hold yourself accountable for the things that you want to do. Okay? Me and my man hold each other accountable for our gym shit. Okay? So, um, I text him a picture when I go to the gym. He texts me a picture when he goes to the gym. And we hold each other accountable for it. Find somebody who is setting goals this year, who wants to be making these changes, and have a accountability partner. Make it a thing. All right, maybe you guys meet once a week. Maybe you just chat on text once a week or FaceTime once a week or whatever it is, right? Get together, go over your goals, go over what you did that past week, and hold each other accountable. Last thing here, stay inspired. Okay, how do you do that? For me, I love a good, inspiring podcast. All right. And if you need one, check out my podcast, Be Fiercely You. It's on iTunes and Spotify and anywhere that you can get your podcasts. So check that out. But stay inspired, right? Do things that inspire you. Maybe read an inspiring book, right? Listen to inspiring music. Um, for me, something that really lights me the fuck up is going to music festivals. So when I start like feeling myself down, I'm like, I gotta go to a concert, I gotta go to a music festival, like I need to get out there, right? Be aware, all right, of the things that inspire you and do the things. Um, and surrounding yourself with inspiring people, inspiring words, all that good stuff is going to keep you highly, highly motivated. All right, last thoughts here. We're going to let go of the new year, new me mentality. Okay. It was never you that was the problem, my dear. It was the disconnect between you and your goals. All right. So stay the same amazing you. We're not doing this whole new year, new me thing. No, still be amazing, stay you, but just put a new plan of action into place. All right. Just a new plan of action is what you need. All right. So that brings me to the end. Here is all of my information if you guys want to connect with me. For those of you that are on TikTok and can't see my screen right now, you can follow me here at the Heather Nicole. My handle is the same on Instagram as well. You can check out my website, that is heathernicolecoaching.com. My email is heathernicolecoaching@gmail.com. And just as a special bonus for everybody, for those of you listening, if you want to drop your email in the chat, um, please do so. I have a workbook that I created to go along with today's presentation. It reiterates a lot of the tips that I shared with you guys. There are a whole bunch of journal prompts in there. There are a whole bunch of exercises in there that are really going to reiterate everything that we talked about today. It's going to walk you through a lot of the stuff that I talked about. So for those of you that are listening on Zoom, please put your email in the chat. Those of you that are listening on TikTok, it will be available via the link in my bio by the end of the day. Okay. So you can get that there. And yeah, I will see you guys in February for the 6 non-negotiables of self-love webinar. As was mentioned in the beginning, we will be doing this every second Saturday of the month. It's going to be at 11 a.m. on all of those days. So February 8th is going to be the next one, 11 a.m., 6 non-negotiables of self-love. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I think. Peach, did you want to say something?
Hey, how y'all doing? It's Latoya, y'all. So, Heather, Coach, you done made a lot of valid points to this morning, and I hope everyone was jotting down all the information because you made a lot of good points and facts. I want everyone, if you are viewing this video, I want y'all to put one of the quotes that touched you in the chat. I want to see what everybody got to say because the one that I got a couple that I had jotted down here, but the one that really touched me was get crystal fucking clear about your goals. I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And never miss twice because it's so easily to miss that first time. But like you said, coach, you missed the first time is okay, but don't miss the second time. So I
Yeah,
think
really
that's super
does.
important because we missed that first time and then it was like, all right, we could miss a second time. And then it just becomes consistent with
Yep.
missing.
Yep. Then it's a third time, a fourth
The
time, a fifth
right,
time, and then before you
too
know it, you
many,
give up altogether.
too many. So I love that you said never miss twice. So that's something that we have to do as women in 2025. Just get our stuff together and never miss twice. I love that, coach. Anybody else got some? Let me hear y'all quotes. We have some people on here on the Zoom and on Facebook, all social media. I want to see what everyone else has to say. And it's just great. I love it because believe me, I'm over here jotting down because it even though we are a part of the House of Peach or whatever organization, is always something that we could get from that we could all got from this meeting today, this Zoom. So I love that. I thank you, Heather.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So we got some people in that's in the chat. You want to go over it?
See.
Oh, oh, you got your code and everything in there. Everybody, please, like Coach Heather said, we will be here. We'll be back every second Saturday at 11 a.m. So make sure you follow all of our social medias and just stay updated on what we got going on. Heather will be back again in on the second Saturday. But this was really good. How you feel about it, Heather? You enjoyed yourself tonight?
I
Well,
did.
this
I'm feeling
morning.
awesome. Thank you everybody for tuning in who did. This was a lot of fun and I'm so excited to do this every month with you guys and for us
Yes.
all to get to know each other and we got to make this a community and be there for each other. So connect with each other, share contact information with each other. Maybe we'll have to start like some kind of group chat or something so we can all like talk about things even when we're not on this live.
Right. Nope. Don't be shy, y'all. Y'all give your comments. Let's talk and let's have a conversation. So I love it.
Yeah, and like I said, feel free to reach out to me on social media if you guys think of any questions or want some clarity on anything after you kind of sit with it. I know for me, when I'm on like webinars or classes like this, I'm writing down notes and writing down notes. And then later I go back and kind of reflect and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have asked that question, or I wonder what she meant by that. So please feel free, reach out to me on social media, email me, whatever works for you. I would be more than happy to continue the conversation with you guys.
So Heather, why don't you give everyone your social media again, so they could follow you as well.
Yep. So I am on, I usually hang out on TikTok and Instagram the most. It is at the Heather_Nicole. I'm also on Facebook under Heather Baker. And then you can email me at heathernicolecoaching@gmail.com.
Sounds good. All right. So we're gonna just rock it out a little bit because we about to get out of here, y'all. I want everyone to have a safe day out there because it has been snowing in our part, so it's a little slippery out there. Everybody be safe, and let's plan for our 2025. We need to have a great 2025. Yeah, we want, this is the year. I don't know why, but I just feel like there's a shift that has been happening, and a positive shift at that, for positivity and just doing what we want in a positive way, and doing those things that we always wanted to do and we keep holding it back. Let's start working on those goals. Goals need to be
Yes,
set 2025, okay? So,
absolutely.
yes. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and end it with everyone, Nicole. Just go ahead. I'm gonna let you go there, Heather.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you again, everybody, for joining. And yeah, I'll see you on February 8th. We're going to talk about some self-love.
Self-love. Y'all have a good morning.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Are we stop recording?
I'm still on here.
You still on there?
Mhm.
Here, says it stop recording. Let's just leave.
All right.
All right.
All right. I'll see you later.